Hey everybody, I am back today with yet another paranormal type story for you guys. This story is actually about when my oldest son was a baby. When he was actually, it started before he was born. We moved in to like a 2-bedroom townhouse. So it had 2 bedrooms upstairs and then just the rest of the stuff downstairs, like living room, kitchen with a hooked on dining room. Like, it wasn't that big of a townhouse. Anyway, so when we moved into the townhouse, shortly after we moved in, we found out that I was going to be having a baby. And so the second room, which basically we'd been using more as like a storage type room, it had my husband's weight bench in it and what are those the barbell, are those even called barbells? You know, the ones on the big bar, like, that go up on the weight bench. Yeah, I sound really smart here. Anyway, it was a weight bench with one of those in it. That was in there. There was some other, like, stuff we had stored in there. But when we found out that I was going to have my son, we did buy a crib and we put that in there. We put a changing table in there. And in the closet, we put all the, like, clothes and stuff to be ready for when he was born. But we never really, like, turned it full on into a nursery. Like, this room, though, I never really liked the room. The room was always much colder than the other rooms in the house. And every time I was in there, I would just, like, get this, like, unsettled feeling, like there is someone watching me. Like, and I'd turn around and there would be no one there. I'd be home alone and I'd feel like someone was watching me, but no one was even in the house. So, like, I don't know. The room I never liked, and it kind of always gave me an unsettled feeling. When my son was born, he never really slept in there. Like, we had the crib set up in there, and we never moved out the other stuff, but, like, he was a little baby. It's not like he was gonna play with that stuff or get into it at that small when he could not even move at that point. But, like, you know, not move, but, you know, not get out of his crib and stuff. But he would take naps in there during the daytime, during the light hours. Sometimes he'd take a nap for an hour or two in his crib. But as far as sleeping in there at night, we can never get him to sleep in there at night without, like, freaking out and crying. So the only thing that I really did in that room is, like I said, occasionally he would take a nap for an hour or two in his crib. Other than that, the changing table, we did use the changing table. So if it was time to change him, we'd go up in the room and we'd use the changing table. The changing table was under the window, like, in the room. And then behind where the changing table was where the weight bench was. We had this, like, we bought it for him. Don't ask why we bought a baby a telephone, but we bought him a telephone. And it was Mickey Mouse. Like, a lot of the stuff that we got him, like his pacifier, like diaper bag, like a lot of the little stuff we got him was Mickey Mouse themed. So we'd seen this Mickey Mouse phone. It was back when people actually had home phones rather than cell phones. Like, pretty much everyone had a home phone in their house. Anyway, this Mickey Mouse phone, it was one where Mickey Mouse was laying on his stomach like this with his hands, and his feet were, like, back behind him, like up in the air, and the phone piece that you pick up to talk on, it rested on the back of his feet, like on his feet that were up in the air. And there was really no way for the phone, the handle, the part the receiver. See, I can't even remember what the proper parts of a phone are called because we all use cell phones now. Anyway, there was really no way for the receiver to just fall off the phone. So, like, although I'd never, like, had any proof or seen anything happen in that room, I just always had a feeling like someone was watching me when I was in there. This one day, I was, like, sitting there, well, I mean, standing there, at the changing table with my son, and I was talking to him and changing him, and all of a sudden I heard the sound of the phone off the hook. You know, when you take a phone off the hook and you hear that noise because it's been off the hook too long, so it's letting you know you need to put it back on the hook. I heard that and I'm like, that is really weird. And I turn around and it wasn't even like it had fallen off. And like I said, there was no way for the receiver to just fall off because of the way the phone was. But say for some reason it would have just fallen off. This was not just fallen off. The receiver had been picked up because it went this way across the back of his feet, and it had been turned so it went this way, and it was just like sitting on top so that the head part of the receiver was near the back of Mickey's head, and the other part was over like his feet, like sitting, like someone had, I was alone in the house. And like I picked up my son, I put it back on the receiver, and I went through the whole house just to make sure like no one was home. His dad wasn't home. Like he hadn't come home. I don't know why he'd play a trick on me like that. But anyway, we were definitely home alone in the house, and that totally freaked me out. And after that, that happened about 3 or 4 more times in the room where I'd be changing him, and the phone would just start making that noise. Like it'd been off the hook, and I'd turn around and it would be sitting there, like turned sideways, taken off the hook, like deliberately, but no one was in the house. And I always hated that room. And my son, like I said, we could never get him to sleep in the room overnight. Like even as he got older, because we lived in that house until he was like 1.5 years old. Even as he got older and he was like sleeping through the night, if we put him in there, he would scream and scream and scream, and he would not sleep in there. Like I could put him in my room and lay him on my bed, and he would fall asleep. Like leave him there, he would fall asleep, and we could go downstairs, but we could not put him in the room with his crib and have him fall asleep. He just never, he never liked it. He wasn't having that. But yeah, that was pretty freaky. So that I think was the first like paranormal thing surrounding like when I had kids. And I don't know if it was a good energy or a bad energy, but it creeped me out. I don't like people watching me, and the whole phone thing, I just didn't like that. Anyway, that is it for the story for today, and I hope that you guys are having a great day as always, and I will see you later.